Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about why do women seem to love jerks? Okay, so the reason why I say seem to love jerks rather than, oh yeah, women love jerks, is because usually when these women meet these men who turn out to be jerks, they're not usually jerks to begin with. Or at least if they are, they're doing enough of the right things to make her attracted to them and to fall in love with them. So, one of the reasons why women love dating jerks, or it seems like women always seem to be wanting the bad boy or something like that, is because people who are jerks, guys who are jerks, tend to be more decisive and they take the lead. So they go up to a woman and they're very bold and they say, hey, you know what, I think I want to take you out, right? They're very bold like that. And that is attractive to a woman because he's being decisive. He's not beating around the bush, basically. He's not trying to be her friend first. He's not, being overly nice to her. He's just saying what he feels and he's attracted to her. So he just goes up to her and basically lets that be known. He says things like, oh yeah, we should go to this restaurant at this time, at this place, because that's what I want, basically, because that's maybe a restaurant he likes. Maybe it's when he goes to a lot of his friends. And he's just very decisive. But really, instead of what a lot of women confuse this with, they see this as, oh yeah, he's a leader, he's decisive, and that is actually very attractive to a woman. He's confident. He just came up to me and basically said that he wanted me. And that not many men do that. Not many men are that bold, that are that forward like that. And she finds that attractive. But unfortunately, what happens, and this is what a lot of guys pick up on and why they seem to think women love jerks, is that over time, basically what this is, why they're so decisive, and why they seem like a leader is because actually what they're doing, these jerks, is that they're controlling and they're fearful because they're fearful of losing her, basically. And basically what this decisiveness and the jerk behavior is really coming from is a place of weakness. So the idea is then, if you are, get upset about this kind of thing, because I used to get upset about this kind of thing. I had crushes on women when I was a teenager and in my early adulthood before I met my wife, and it seemed like, oh yeah, all women just seem to love to be treated badly. At least that's what it seemed like. But in reality, what was actually going on is she got attracted to these fake leadership qualities, like the jerk sort of like behavior, although at the time it probably didn't seem like jerk-like behavior. And she got attracted to that and she fell in love, and then a lot of time went by. And because a lot of time went by, she probably got married to him, or she had kids with him. She just couldn't escape, basically. And because she's already head over heels in love with them, it's very difficult to keep yourself away from someone that you're just really drawn to and really attracted to. So a lot of women can actually get themselves into trouble, especially if the jerk that they date happens to be a particular, like a really nasty one, like someone who maybe turn out to be abusive, right? And a lot of the times when women figure out who this man actually is, it's too late. So what she was attracted to was actually the good parts of masculinity, the good parts, that really attracts her, right? She didn't fall in love with maybe the behavior that he's doing now, like the jerk-like behavior. She was attracted to these really strong masculine traits, right? So like the leadership, like the fact that he was very bold and went out, he went up to her and asked her out and things like that. That's what she's attracted to. So what most women want then is they want a decisive man who will take the lead like this. Not all women, but a lot of women are attracted to men who can take the lead and be decisive like that. But they don't want a man who is cruel or mean. And unfortunately, a lot of jerks, right, are cruel and mean. But she didn't get attracted to the cruel and meanness, right? That's why she's not attracted to someone who is a jerk. She's not attracted to someone who's horrible to her. She's not attracted to the fact that, he treats her badly. She got attracted to the other qualities that came along with that, which were actually just fake qualities, basically, because he was actually acting out of fear and control. So what she wants then, what most women want, is they want a decisive man. They want a man who's a leader and confident, right, like a jerk, but they also want someone who is kind, right? They want a man who is kind. They don't want to be pushed around. They don't want to be controlled, right? Even though it may seem like that, because a lot of women appear to be in these relationships with men who are not very nice to them, you see, right? So it may seem like that, but in reality, that's not what she was attracted to. She wasn't attracted to the cruelty. She was attracted to the decisiveness, right? And a lot of times, some men can go wrong, and women, they can be overly nice, right? To try and win someone over that they like, right? They become too much like a buddy and too much like a friend first. And most of the time, it comes from a good place. Because you maybe the reason why you want to be their friend first is because you want to do it out of respect. You don't want to just, you're probably in a frame of mind where you don't want to just come across as if you want to get in her pants, right? And I feel like that's where a lot of men get worried. They think, well, I am interested in her, and of course I am interested in her romantically, but I don't want her to think that I only want her for sex or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be her friend first. I'm going to be really nice to her, give her all these gifts, treat her really, really well, like that kind of thing. Instead, when in reality, what they should be doing is just going up to them and speaking their truth and saying like, hey, I'm attracted to you. I'd really love to take you out. Like what a jerk would do, like what someone who is mean would do, right? That's what you need to do, basically. You need to speak with authenticity, right? Because if you're not authentic and you become the nice guy or the nice girl, whatever it may be, right? Whoever's watching this right now, if you do that, you come across as inauthentic. And if you're not being your true self, most people can pick up on it because you're not being yourself. You're hiding something. And you're hiding basically how you truly feel. You're hiding the fact that you actually would really like to take her out on a date. You would really like to get romantic with her because you're attracted to her. You're hiding your attraction. And because you are hiding your attraction, you act and behave strangely. She will see you as maybe a bit weird, maybe just a friend, maybe more like a brother, because you've got this you're putting on this fakeness, and they can tell, even if they're not sure what it is. Some women and even some guys will be able to pick up on when someone is attracted to them, like pretty quickly. A lot of people can do that, but there are some men out there that don't know that don't know when someone's attracted to them. So instead they're like, oh, why is this person acting this way? There's something a bit off. I can't quite put my finger on it. And then there's those other women out there that know when someone's attracted to them, and because they can see that they are just pretending to be their friend, again, it comes across as a bit creepy sometimes, or just a bit weird, just a bit off, and just not authentic, you see. And that's where a lot of people go wrong, right? And a lot of those people get really upset and butthurt, basically, that a lot of jerks swoop in and steal all the women, because they're like, well, I'm being nice, I'm being respectful, but this guy comes in and he's not respectful at all. It's because she was attracted to the fact that he was a leader and he went for it, right? And it makes sense. Like, if you think about it like that, it makes sense. She doesn't love the nastiness. She loves the decisiveness, because this jerk was obviously overly confident, and maybe that overconfidence came with actually a lot of deep insecurity. And, they probably go up to women all the time and say, hey, I'm really attracted to you. We should go out sometime. And they're really bold and decisive like that. And they get to the point really quickly. And if they get rejected, they're just like, oh, okay, move on to the next one, right? Because they have that kind of attitude. So in a way, you kind of need to develop that kind of attitude too, right? If you're afraid of getting rejected, that is a fear that you definitely need to overcome. Because what you need to realize is that most of the time, you could actually get rejected, right? But at least you are not wasting your time by being their friend first, by pussyfooting around the situation, by, being really compliant and submissive to them, and just treating them really nicely, and, you saying, oh, I don't want to make her feel uncomfortable, so I'm just going to be a friend. So I don't want her to feel like I only want to have sex with her. So I'm just going to be a friend. I'll be nice and respectful, right? And that's the attitude I used to have, so I completely understand that frame of mind. But that is usually the wrong thing to do, and most of the time it puts women off, right? It puts a lot of women off when you do that kind of thing. Now, there are some women that don't mind that. There are some women out there that do like to be friends first and things like that. But most of the time, like the majority of women would much prefer it if you were just real from the start and authentic from the start, like how a lot of jerks are, right? They would just prefer it if you were more like that, but without the the nastiness and the cruelty and maybe even the abusiveness. Okay, so basically, when a woman meets a jerk, she falls in love with the positive and attractive traits that they are displaying, right? But she then realizes too late, maybe when they get married, a few months down the road, when she's already in a relationship or already head over heels, that this person actually isn't that great for her. Okay, so how can you also develop some more of these sort of like the jerk traits without actually being a jerk? So another thing is being quite like not giving gifts too soon, because sometimes people can go over the top with that kind of thing. I remember a situation that my wife was telling me about, saying like in one of her past relationships, she had a girlfriend that had was always giving her things. This girl was quite wealthy, so money wasn't really an object. She would always take her out for dinner and stuff. And my wife started to feel a bit indebted to her, because not only was she doing all of those things, like taking her out loads, buying her things all the time, but she was also like worshipping my wife, like making like long posts about her on Facebook and things, and sending her long messages, like always in her messages, basically talking to her, not giving her any really space to breathe, basically. And when I met my wife and she was telling me all this, I said to her that she was lucky to get a Cadbury cream egg out of me. Right? That's what I said. And, some people may hear that and think, oh my God, you were such a jerk to your wife when you met her. But I knew at that stage that I wasn't going to be giving her big gifts. I still don't, only on Christmas and on her birthday and on anniversaries. I don't shower with gifts all the time, right? But this other girl was, and it put off my wife, and eventually my wife broke it off with that girl because it just became too much. And she just didn't like being worshipped. She wanted to be treated like a normal human being. Right? So you got to think of that kind of thing as well. Like, don't just shower a woman with gifts, because not only are you wasting your money, but you're more likely making them less attracted to you. So just save gifts for birthdays, anniversaries, Valentine's Day, Christmas. Just save them for that. Don't be buying them stuff straight away when you just meet them, right? Obviously, sometimes, if you go out for a meal, you might want to pay for the meal. You might want to do that for her. But there's no reason why you can't just pay halvesies these days, right? Or especially if she offers, right? I guess the good rule of thumb is to pay for the meal. But if she says, oh, maybe let's go halves, then let her go half, or let her pay for it. Right? Because you want a woman who's a giver. You want a woman who gives back to you. So you want to look out for women who you're not only just spending money on, but they spend money on you. Like my wife, she buys me clothes. She buys me little trinkets and stuff. She's always doing really nice things for me, and sometimes she surprises me with some chocolate or something like that, because she loves me, and I do the same for her. We just do that kind of thing for each other with these little surprises and things. So it's you got to be with a woman who is more of a giver, right? Because you don't want to be just with someone who's just take. Because I know a lot of people get a bit funny about the a men should pay for the dinner, right? It's not always the case, right? But sometimes it is something that you may have to do. But only if you want to. You don't have to. No one's forcing you to pay for a meal. But the way that I always see it is, especially when I was dating, I was like, okay, I'm going to pay for the meal. But if she says, let's do half, then we'll do half. I think that's a good rule of thumb. So there are many little things that you can do to come across in a more attractive way to a woman without being a jerk. Okay. So those are some tips for you and my thoughts on why women seem to love jerks, okay? So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.